Bill, President Obama's imposed in the wake of the Deepwater Horizon disaster in the Gulf a moratorium on deepwater drilling. Now, you've been strongly advocating for drilling off the North Carolina coast. Is there any question in your mind that you don't support that moratorium that the president's imposed? I've heard you say that you'd like to see drills off the North Carolina coast today. You still stick with that position?
Outstanding question, and as a matter of fact, I think we really are taking our eye off of a more important point with respect to this BP disaster. If you go back to when the drilling was going on and the processes that were used to extract the oil in the deep water, there were procedures that were violated by BP that the federal government signed off on. Safeguards that decades of engineering, wherewithal, and knowledge told them that this was the way to do it. And they intentionally bypassed that, and the safety was compromised. Now, I'm not necessarily a conspiracy person, but I do not think enough investigation has been done on this. And I'm getting to your question. I don't think enough investigation has been done with respect to that debacle where BP proposed to do a process or a procedure that violated all safety, violating all the axioms of engineering with respect to deep water drilling, and the federal government, entrusted to uphold the regulations that are in place, signed off on it. Give me a major break. Someone needs to be digging into that situation personally. Now, this is purely speculative and not based on any fact. But personally, I feel there's a possibility that there was some sort of collusion. I don't know how or why, but in that situation, if you have someone from a company proposing to violate the safety process and then the government signing off on it, excuse me, maybe they wanted it to leak, but then it got beyond what was anticipated, and we had an explosion and loss of life, and oh man, now we have panic. Is there a cover-up going on? I'm not saying there necessarily is, but I think that there are enough facts on the table for people that really need to do so, to do some investigative research and find out what went on with that, and getting a subpoena of records and everything else. So with that, I'm telling you that the track record for deep water drilling is not, perfect, but it is exceptional. It is positive, and so I feel that overall, that the deep water drilling should be allowed, but I think we also need to move the drilling to more shallow water, where you have a significantly greater amount of safety inherent in the process of extracting.
So I'm confused. Do you support the moratorium on deep water drilling or not? That was the question.
No, I don't.
Yeah, okay, because you're saying you need to move it to shallow water. I mean, that is the moratorium. It allows drilling in shallow.
Doesn't mean not at all.
I said you also.
The moratorium's not on, not at all.
You need to allow the processes for extracting the oil in the deep water to remain,
okay,
but also look to open drilling closer to shore in the shallower water, where you have an even greater enhancement of safety factors that are involved, because you do not have the limitations that exist with the deep water.
There have been a lot of subpoenas that have gone out. There are a lot of investigations ongoing, but you just suggested that maybe the government colluded with BP to have a little bit of a leak and it got out of control. Explain to me what the possible motivation would be for either BP or the government to want to have any leak at all.
I have no idea. All I'm saying, on the face of it, it is something that we need to look into. You have established empirical safety processes that told the procedure for having the heavy mud and the other components to make sure that the integrity of the seal remains. Those processes were removed. They were bypassed for another process or procedure. The government signed off on that bypass.
Do you know that for a fact? Because I think the government signed off on the drilling plan as a whole. It didn't sign off on every incremental decision that BP made at the well.
Well, sir, I'll give it to you as a member of the press.
Sure.
My statement is, I think we need a deeper investigation of what went on with respect to the safety procedures and processes that were violated. That's where I stand.